Hey folks, welcome back to our Final Fantasy VI Pro Challenge playthrough. This is part number 21, and you could consider this the penultimate video, because after this, it's straight on to Kefka's Tower. We're almost there. Okay, so basically with this part of the video, it's going to be a lot of cleanup and preparation. There is one major side quest that we have left to do, and we'll certainly do that. Before we do that, we're going to head back to Triangle Island, and we're going to acquire this character that we left behind. Now, if you think back, this is the part where the Zone Eater sucked up the entire party, right? And we elected to basically do everything within the innards of the Zone Eater, if that makes any sense. We got all of the items, the weapons, the armors, all those things, but we elected not to get the final optional character at the end of this dungeon, so to speak. Because, as you probably know by this point, when you pick up characters or reacquire them, they will typically take on the average level of the party. So we weren't really that strongly leveled for that part of the game yet, but now after some power leveling, I think we'll have a pretty decent start for this character, so it's about time to go back and pick him up. We're going to go back in here, we're going to make sure that the Moogle Charm is handy but not equipped, because if it's equipped right now, he won't come out and suck us up. So keep it off until he comes out, wait till he engulfs us, and then we're going to put the Moogle Charm back on, and then we will go all the way to the end. We will obtain this character, and then we will warp straight out. So this will be a fairly straightforward part right here. We're going to put it on fast forward once we get inside of the Zone Eater, and go all the way to the end. Cold Dust. I actually had no idea that the Zone Eater could do Cold Dust in the first place. Interesting. Basically, he's going to have a nice little frozen treat right now. Alright, so the Zone Eater is going to have a nice little lick on the Mogsicle. Munch, 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 munch. Mmm. Okay, and we are finally back inside the Zone Eater here. Now, we're going to go ahead, make sure that the Moogle Charm is equipped. That's really the only thing we care about right now. And we're going to zoom all the way across, being very careful not to get hit and knocked down. Be very careful here. We left one of these treasures last time, if you think back. It was a treasure way over here. We're going to pick it up really quick. Very careful. We screw this up, we're done. Get a tack star, get out of the way, and woo! Only about 2 seconds later, that run would have been over. So, thankfully, we get that tack star. So, in case you don't know what the tack star is, that is one of the best throwing weapons that Shadow can get in the game, if not the best. So, it was definitely worth the pickup. We will utilize that in Kefka's Tower when Shadow joins the party for real. Now, here's this character. What the heck is it? He, she, thing? Yeah. Well, anyway, the character's name is Gogo. I'm going to refer to it as he because it looks like a he. So, this is Gogo. And basically, Gogo is a mime. And this is really interesting because any character you have in your party, he can mimic, he can mime. You want to make him a second Sabin? He can do bum rushes. You want to make him a second Mog, do all the dances? Second Cyan? I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could. So my point, you can make him wherever you want him to be. He is the true Final Fantasy character. You can customize him to whatever you want him to be. The only thing that sucks about him, by the way, level 36 is not bad for where we're at right now. The only thing that sucks about him is that his stats are not very good compared to everybody else in the party and in the game. This is my personal recommendation for when you're setting this character up here. Mimic, obviously. Blitz, never hurts to have high physical damage. Dance is very beneficial for having that Sun Dance, that wind song Mog. It's basically free HP, free health without the MP. And then, of course, item. Now, you might be wondering, why the heck don't I pick magic? Well, you could do magic, I suppose, but here's the problem. You can't equip any skills on him. And when I mean skills, you can't equip espers on him. So it's kind of pointless. So do whatever else you want to do with him. Make him whoever you want to make him, but he's not really a magic user, which is why we didn't get him for the Fanatics Tower. We couldn't use him at all. Alright, now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go back to Narsh. There is one, maybe actually two more things we're going to do here. We're only going to focus on the most important of which, and that's because the second one takes way too long even to power level. Make sure you come back in here with Lock, because if you don't have them, you will notice that all of these doors are, for lack of a better word, locked. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so the only door we really care about here is the weapon shop. Go ahead, go over there, unlock the door, go inside. You'll notice that nobody is in here, but there is another pathway around the back end of the house, the store. Go in there. Oh, there's an old man sitting here. Been waiting for you, I'll bet you have all this time, right? Ever since the world went to ruin. I kind of doubt it. Ooh, piece of magicite. Melted for powers. Ooh. Interesting. Okay, now we have two options. We can leave this as the Stone Ragnarok, which will give us the ultimate Esper, or the ultimate magic, Ultima. The other option is to turn it into a sword Ragnarok, which will be the most powerful sword in the game, basically. It's really up to you. The game is beatable either way. I'm going to choose to make it the sword, and here's why. You can choose to change that sword into an even more powerful sword in the Coliseum. That's exactly what we're going to do here. Now you might be thinking, why don't I just keep it as the Esper, because then I can learn the most powerful spell, Ultima. Like I said, it's entirely up to you. The game is beatable either way. I like physical damage because I really don't like burning MP. But there are many ways you can go about doing this. Oh, by the way, you can still learn Ultima without actually having that Esper. More on that later. For the time being, though, we're going to take the Ragnarok sword. By the way, interesting thing about that sword, when you use it, it will randomly cast Flare. Yeah, that's an awesome spell. Unfortunately, I can only learn that from Bahamut, who the Esper I don't have, even though I destroyed Doomgaze. But enough about that. Alright, now, we're going to go into the Coliseum, and we're going to wager the Ragnarok sword that we just won, and we're going to hope to upgrade it into an even better sword. So, make sure you have the most powerful stuff on your most powerful character. By the way, using Sabin is extremely dangerous and risky because he does have a blitz called the Spiraler, which is typically used to restore health to party members at the expense of offing yourself. If you use Sabin and he uses the Spiraler, you instantly lose. So, again, it's a risk. It's unlikely to happen, but it could happen. And if it does, you instantly lose whatever you wager. I'm taking a very big risk here. I don't care, because the game's beatable without the sword or the Esper. But anyway, here we go. We're going to wager Ragnarok and Daedalus. Interesting. Well, make sure you use Sabin. Now, what you're hoping for here is the Bum Rush. Ooh, preemptive attack. That's really helpful. You're hoping for a lot of physical attacks. The problem with doing these Coliseum battles is that everything is berserked. Everything is completely random. You have no control over the actions of your characters here. So, again, we are hoping for physical attacks, maybe a Bum Rush, maybe a really powerful magic spell. We do not want to see the Spiraler Blitz come out under any circumstances. If that does happen, I will destroy the TV, and it will not be a fun experience or day for anyone. Ooh, Blaster. Ooh, we got very lucky there. That Blaster can basically one-shot an entire enemy or an entire ally there. We got extremely lucky. We don't see that kind of red shield evasion very often, by the way. Firewall, 0 damage. That's what I like to see. Ooh, this is going to be bad. If we came in here with lower HP, this could have been the end of us. Thankfully, it's not. Oof, 2,000 damage is not fun. Aura Bolt. Okay, at least it wasn't the Spiraler. And we did it. We took him down. Man, 3,000 damage with the Aura Bolt. Illumina. So that's the sword we got. We traded in the Ragnarok. We got the Illumina. Now, what's the difference, you may ask? Well, the attacking damage is basically the same, but we're upgrading. We're trading in the random magic spell of Flare for the random magic spell of Pearl. So it basically is dealing holy damage now instead of fire damage randomly to enemies. So, very nice. And we can also pair that with other weapons. You know, we can use the Genji Glove and the Offering combined with, like, say, the Atma Weapon, a sword we've completely forgotten about since the World of Balance. But we can bring that back. We can use it. So, all kinds of fun to be had. So those big, long, great swords can be used by characters like Terra, Locke, who else? Let's see here. Celeste, Edgar. You know, there's a lot of really, really good team members here that can use those swords in combination with other relics here. So, in my opinion, I think we definitely did the right thing using the sword. You know, it can be argued either way. I do not regret my choice. I know we will beat this game either way, but I'm happy with the sword. All right, so those are the two major, things of preparation we've forgotten about. And that sword certainly is very nice to have. Now, we're going to be utilizing Strago here and also Relm. There is one major side plot point that we've forgotten about, and that is Strago, honestly, and Relm. So, what's going to happen here? We're going to go back to the town of Themasia, and we are going to find out what happened in all this time during the transformation of the World of Balance to the World of Ruin. Did anything change in this town? I mean, as you can clearly see, a lot of the world was completely laid to waste, so what changes, if any, really happened here? Well, let's go ahead and speed through to the end of Themasia, and we're going to find out. See you there. Okay, I think we're finally ready to come out of these stupid menus here, and we are right above Themasia. Let's go ahead and land, go back in the town, and see what we've been missing all this time. So we get back in there, and by the way, this cutscene will not play unless both Strago and Relm are both in the party right now. Something else I will point out, I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but in order to go to the next major sub-dungeon here, which is what we're really working toward, again, Strago and Relm need to be in the party to start it, but you only need to have Strago in your party to access and complete the dungeon. So if you want, you really don't need to have Relm in your party, although for the sake of this video, we're going to keep her in there because, number one, she doesn't get a lot of action, and two, she can be helpful for helping to control a lot of these enemies. By the way, this is a good time to check this out. See, we got over 1 million GP, I kid you not. You can buy anything you want. You can buy 100 of almost anything if you want, and that's exactly what we're going to do in some of these cases. Tinctures, they're always in high demand. Buy a whole bunch. Phoenix Downs, why not? Buy 10 of them. What else? Remedy, buy 10, buy 11, who cares? Tents, you can use like 50 of those, right? We'll just go with 10 or 11. So my point, farming all those stupid Hoover enemies and the sandworms, they finally come back and pay their price, and they pay dividends for us. While we're here, let's look at the armor shop, and got pretty much everything we could possibly want, with the exception of some headgear. So we will buy a couple of circlets for both Strago and Relm. We'll equip them both. Oh no, we dipped down underneath 1 million GP. Whatever will we do? I don't think it matters. So put them on. As you can see, that certainly helps defense a little bit. It's not great, but every little bit helps. Again, for this point in the game, the dungeon that we're about to go into, really not a big deal, but I think we're all set. We've got the highest possible grade stuff you can ever get for this point in the game. And here we are. We are now going north. Now that we have triggered that cutscene, the Ebbets Rock entrance has opened up here. So we can go in, and here... So what's going on here? You got this big, ugly, stupid treasure box here saying, hungry, 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 feed me more. Okay, so the way this works, he wants coral, right? The only way to get past this treasure box is to feed him coral. And more specifically, you need to feed him 22 or more pieces of coral. So, how do you do that? Well, first of all, number one, you're going to have a lot of random enemy encounters here. So just make this easy on yourself. Have Mog in your party. Have the Moogle Charm equipped. You know, less frustration, please. So you're just going to walk in and out all around, hitting switches, finding treasure chests, and just make sure as you encounter these chests, obviously, of course, you're going to encounter pieces of coral here. As you go through and collect them, make sure you keep track of how much coral you collected. So right now, if memory serves me correctly, we're at 12 right now. Only 10 more pieces and we'll be all good to go. So all you're doing is running around, opening chests and collecting coral, and not doing what I just did there. If you see a chest, open it. 17 pieces of coral, we're getting pretty close. So obviously, once you get to 22, you can head back to that annoying hungry chest, and you'll be able to get past it here. And I think that's 22 right now, actually. But just to play it safe, we'll get one more. And there we go. That gives us 23. Now, all we got to do now is keep walking around until we find that chest. There he is. Hand over the coral. He's going to munch, munch, munch it all gone. Come on, eat faster. Eating, eating, eating. Barf it up for all I care. There you go. Now get out of the way. Come on, let me go through. I want to find this hide-on boss enemy that everybody keeps talking about. Gonna keep on heading forward, looking around, make sure there's nothing else here, and whoa, there he is. Big, ugly-looking thing. All right. Now, like any other boss encounter, make sure that you're fully healed up, leveled up, magicked up, ready to go. I can tell you right now that we are. Now, I don't know why we're really checking, but it never hurts. Everybody we got is good. I think we're on the safe side. Everyone knows Cure. Everyone knows something good for status effects. Everyone's got pretty strong, decent magic, and decent physical attacks, so we're good. Let's take them on. Let's take them down, and let's finish this sub-quest here. So this is Hide On, Hit On. He's got 4 Hedonites, 25,000 HP. Not bad for a sub-boss. You're going to notice he's weak to curative spells. By the way, this boss knows the best lore in the game, the Grand Train. Absolutely do not kill this boss until you've acquired the Grand Train lore. Now, the way he's going to cast it and make it come out, all of the Hedonites need to go down. So, do what you must do to take them out. Remember, he's got about 25,000 HP, so you can cast, heavy hit all magic if you want. You got to be careful. Ice will not work on the bottom left one. In fact, there's a number of different status effects and magic effects that will not work on that bottom left Hedonite. So, probably best to hit that one with physical attacks. Do what you got to do. Keep your party safe, keep them alive, and just take out the Hedonites and make sure that your party is fully healed when Hedon gets ready to cast Grand Train. Again, That is the most powerful lore out there. You will absolutely love to have it in your arsenal for when the time comes. And that time will come in Kefka's Tower. And this didn't really help much. So here's Mog using the Pearl Lance. And under normal circumstances, that would be enough to kill most enemies here. Unfortunately, that Hedonite is immune and absorbs holy-based attacks. So we need to remember that. Probably end up using Relm, Strago, do most of the damage here. Now, Terra is using the Illumina sword, if I remember correctly, and Illumina is a holy-based sword, so even then we can't use them to heal or hit. So, like I said, do what you gotta do, keep track of the damage, confuse. I hate status effects that based on confusion because they normally can't be healed unless you take the character down, which we could do, but we're not going to because Strago, of all characters, needs to stay alive in order to learn that Grand Train lore. Oh, it actually worked that time. How do you like that? Alright, gonna go ahead and heal up Relm. Get one final last, maybe a couple final last attacks there on the last Hedonite. Certainly don't use any Pearl or Holy-based attacks on him. We've learned our lesson. And you gotta love, the further you get into this game, I love seeing all the dodge and evades on these enemy attacks here. Who needs a high defense stat when you can just simply evade? Very good lesson to learn when you're in real life, by the way. Okay, we're almost done. Just get rid of that stupid Hedonite so we can learn Grand Train. Come on, hurry up. Get it out of there. I think this should just about do... Oh, nope. Under normal circumstances, this would be a great party for attacking. That one stupid enemy just happens to be ruining our day. So how are we going to take it out? Let's see what he is immune to. Oh, now check this out. You can't even use magic-based attacks on him because he's reflecting stuff, so you're almost required to use physical attacks. It's going to be annoying, but we will take him down. So, something else that you could consider doing, and I don't think we've talked about this yet, but you'll notice how, again, that enemy is reflecting. You have the option, if you are smart, you can actually bounce a spell off of yourself if you're using a wall ring or reflect. Any spells that are reflected off of you or an enemy cannot be reflected twice. So remember that. That's a good thing to know, especially if you're going through the Fanatics Tower for the first time and you want to do it the legit way without using the stupid Vanish X-Zone tricks or even the Moogle Charms. You can always reflect stuff off of yourself to cause damage, although a lot of those enemies will employ the same tactics. So just a few things to keep in mind. Alright, finally, the stupid Hedonites are all gone. Get ready, we're about to see Grand Train. How epic is it? Well, for 16-bit, I don't know, but we're about to find out. Alright, Cure 2, get them all up to speed, get them all fully cured. And right about now, this is when it should happen, I believe. Here it comes, he's getting ready to cast it. Here's the Grand Train. Big ol' Superman Triangle of Doom. Not even 1,000 damage. I mean, it's not bad for what it is, but... yeah, let's just say when Strago casts it, it does considerably more damage, so whatever. Alright, now that we've learned the Grand Train lore, we have full range to just fully take it out, destroy it, kill it, go full on with the attacks, physical, magic, it does not matter here. Oh, by the way, remember this thing is weak to curative spells too, right? You could just, you want to cheese it? Why not? Just go ahead. Cast a Phoenix down on it, kill it outright. I've opted not to do that. Instead, I'm going to prove that you could do it the old-fashioned way, the way that we've come to know it and love it. You can always do the old Vanish X-Zone trick, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So you could do it that way, or, again, you could just cast the Phoenix down right at the start of the battle and get the kill. The only problem with doing that is, if you do it before Grand Train is cast, Strago will not learn the lore, so you will have to go through the battle the hard way, wait till he learns it before you get the kill. Nevertheless, we did the damage, we learned the Grand Train, and we have the strongest lore in the game now, which should prove very useful for when we go into Kefka's Tower, hopefully. Yeah, get over yourself, Strago. It wasn't that tough. Alright, so he gets out of Ebbets Rock. He's now back into Themasia. And he wakes up gung-ho, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, shut up. Nobody cares. Alright, under normal circumstances, as obvious, I would love to just let this play out at full speed here. We only cared about the action sequences, so... shut up already. Come on, keep going. Keep going. Alright, Relm was not foolish. She did not catch on to that. Alright, and we forgot to cure the poison. Let's take care of that. So basically, if you weren't following the story but still curious, Gung Ho is faking the injury. He was just looking for sympathy. All right, we're good to go. Yep, we're good to go. Let's get out of here. Now, one thing that is probably smart to do is go to the inn, just heal yourself up. It's only 1 GP. Not that money really matters at this point in the game. We have a near limitless supply of it at 1 million GP. By the way, come to think of it, if you think back to the town of Jador with the auction house, some of those items in the auction house are meant to be unwinnable because of the ridiculous GP amount that the AI NPCs will spend at 1 million. We could, in theory, try to win those prizes now. I'll tell you right now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work. So, anyway, food for thought. Okay, so we have done everything we possibly could do here in this game. Now, there are a couple more things that we could do in terms of optional side items. And I will tell you right now, we will go back and get one of them. We could go to the Coliseum right there. We could always opt to get higher end items and weapons and gear. But honestly, I think we're pretty good where we're at. It's not really required. Though you could spend time grinding there if you wanted to. We could also go here, near the town of Miranda, and just do more power leveling. And honestly, I think we probably will do that at some point before we dump into here, Kefka's Tower. So guess what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it right now. We're going to jump into Kefka's Tower. Now, don't get too excited. We are not going to go all the way through to the end of the game here just yet. The reason we're doing this is because I'm going to show you a little, I don't want to say exploit, but a little cheese trick here. So you know how the Moogle Charm works, right? So here's how this Kefka's Tower works. It's very similar to the Phoenix Cave, where you have to split your party into several groups. With the Phoenix Cave, you split into 2 groups. With Kefka's Tower, you must split into 3 groups. And I'm going to say this right now, all 3 of your groups need to be fairly capable, strong, and fully equipped. Now, you can always switch gear in between the groups and between switching parties. But still, you need to do the leveling for all the characters for them to stand a decent chance. Realistically, probably somewhere in the 40s is sufficient. 50s if you want to be on the safe side. You know, honestly, as long as you have the right setup with magics, leveling isn't that important, but I would say definitely in the 40s to 50s is a safe range here. All right, now, you notice what I did here? Something kind of foolhardy, right? I did 3 parties with 3 single characters, 2 of them being characters that we will never ever use. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing here. We're going to use Mog in the first party. He is here by himself with only the Moogle Charm equipped, and the Sprint Shoes, of course. So what we're going to do here, and we're going to do this with Mog in all 3 different party spots here. We're going to go through Kefka's Tower, the overworld part. By the way, I love this music. We're going to go through the beginning part of Kefka's Tower here. Got the coronet, and that's actually a very nice piece of equipment for Relm, I believe. Yes, and that is for help with raising the success of the sketch rate and control. So that's definitely very useful for when we bring her into this tower later on and everything's been cleared out. So, once again, we're going through and we're clearing out all of the chests and getting everything that we possibly can before we have to fight bosses and sub-bosses for real. Fixed dice, that is an awesome piece of weaponry for Setzer, as you might guess. So we will certainly put that to use when he's brought back into the party. Right now, we're just going to continue moving on through. Here, there's pretty much nothing you can do until a second party jumps in, so we've done everything we can possibly do at this point. So we're going to backtrack back to where we have to go. By the way, you could go back to the beginning, and you're going to see a crane back there. It's like an air crane that will lift you back up to the airship. Or you could just simply use the warp spell, whatever floats your boat. I'm going to show you the air anchor first, and then on the next time we do it, I will show you the warp spell, just to prove that it works in both ways. Alright, everything looks pretty good to go. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Pretty gnarly looking dump here. Yep, got everything we could possibly want. Let's go back up, and if you float around, hang around here long enough, as I said, the air anchor, the hook, whatever you want to call it, will float and come down, and it will take your party member back up to the airship. And I think it's coming, yep, there it is, right about there. Just keep tapping the A or the action button, and you'll float back up. Alright, so there we go. We're going to lift off once again, go right back down into the tower here. We're going to do the exact same thing with Mog in a party by himself and the Moogle Charm. We're going to put him in party slot number 2. The other 2 slots obviously don't matter. What the heck, we haven't used Gogo yet. Put him in a party just to give him some action, just to say that we actually used them. Obviously, we're not going to. As soon as we drop back down in there, we'll switch over to Mog, and he will do the exact same thing that he did in party slot number 1. Opening up all of the chests that he possibly can. And as expected, we'll do the same thing in slot number 3. Now you might just say, why don't we just try to power through and beat the game? Well, again, some of the stuff that you're seeing here is stuff that is very high-end, very high level, and they can be equipped on some of these characters when you come back down for real. So this is a strategy that many people employ, not just myself, burning through and collecting stuff. Minerva is a very nice piece of armor for both Terra and Celeste, and if I remember correctly, it decreases the use of magic. Let's go ahead and check it. Oh, it actually raises your MP totals by a quarter, 25%. So it is certainly useful. It affects your magic. Either way, I knew it had to do with one of those things. So that looks good. One more chest. Tackstar. Tackstars are wonderful. Best throwing weapons in the game for Shadow, unless you're going to throw actual weapons, like swords. All right, there is Atma weapon. If you think back to when we were on the floating continent, I mean, yes, I know, we never saw it, but there it is. So one way, shape, form, or another, you will see me fight Atma here. We will take him down. All right, now we have 2 tubes here we're going to go through. Let's go through the first one on the left. We're going to have a chest right here, and I think one more chest on the bottom. Force shield, obviously good for stopping magic. And let's see, we've got a door here, and I think another chest over here. What's the chest going to give us? Force armor, so some very wonderful magic armor, which we've already got us an entire set of, I believe, but it never hurts to have more of them. Go through these doors. Ooh, dragon, do we dare take it on solo? We know the strategy to do it, but do we dare do it? We're thinking, should we? Let's do it. Let's give you your money's worth. I hope this was a good decision. All right, here we go. This is the gold dragon, and as you can clearly see right off the bat, this is a lightning-based dragon, although he looks like a dinosaur, but that's besides the point. 32,000 HP, which is a good total for a dragon right now, or really any of the dragons. Now, the Vanished X-Zone trick still works, right? But here's the problem. He's going to hit hard, he's going to hit fast. Ooh, boy, we got to work really quickly. We got Vanished. Let's get the X-Zone out there. Where's it at? Where's it at? There it is. Oh, Bolt. You know, if he hits us with another Gigavolt, this is over. Ooh, boy. Let's hope it works. Oh, it worked. 10 magic points. We learned stuff. Crystal Orb. Crystal Orb is a very, very... Oh, by the way, 1 dragon left. We're so close. 1 dragon left. What's it going to give us? And what does that do for us, more importantly? What does that Crystal Orb do? Raises MP by half. So that basically means if you have 500 MP total, you now have 750. So clearly, that's obviously going to help any magic-heavy users like Terra or Celeste or even Mog or Strago. Take your pick. Now here, as you can see, we've got 4-ton anvils. They both have to be pushed down and dropped on those switches for the third party member to move up there and get out. Now we could go all the way back or just use warp. Just like that. Cool. So that was fast, and that was relatively painless. A little bit scary, but we took down the dragon here. All right, let's continue on. We're going to use Mog to go through the final party slot. Do the exact same thing, grab some good stuff. Waste some time here with some party members that we'll probably never use. Gogo we will definitely use. Umero, definitely not. All right, wait for them to drop down one final time. Hurry up. Come on. All right. Let's go ahead and switch over to party number 3 with Mog. Get moving on. Grab some chests. There's a good quick one right there. Red cap. Very nice piece of headgear, but we've already got a couple of them. I think Mog might actually have one equipped right now, if I remember correctly. All right, move up in here. There's another door. We're going to have 2 chests in here. First one on the far left. A Nutkin suit, and a gauntlet. Man, that gauntlet is, again, not bad, but we've had gauntlets for pretty much just the beginning of the game here. Now, you might think that the Nutkin suit is equipable by Mog, right? Well, no, it's not, actually. It's equipable by 2 characters that you really wouldn't think so. It's the same as the Moogle suit. Strago and Relm. They're actually good pieces of armor, only for those 2, and who knows, we may use them whenever we come back into this dungeon for real. But for right now, we're just using Mog to get what we need, and then we'll continue onwards. All right, let's go on down into this next door. Let's see what's in here. Hopefully something useful. Looks like a door you think you could go in, but right now, unfortunately, you cannot, so we'll go in this door. Ooh, there's a chest right up here. Hero ring. Hero rings never go out of style. That's like 4 or 5 of them that we have. Go on through the conveyor belt. All right. Now, we're going to be extremely careful here. Do not, absolutely do not continue left past this save point down the steps. If you do, you're going to trigger an unavoidable boss fight, and I'm not too comfortable in Mog going at it alone by himself because the Vanish X-Zone trick does not work on that boss. You will need to fight him for real with a full party of 4. So, at that point, we've done everything we can possibly do. I don't feel comfortable going into the tower just yet, although we certainly can. I think we're capable of doing it. Maybe a little bit more power leveling would be nice. But before we go there was one final thing I want to show you in the Fanatics Tower that we glossed over. I don't know how we glossed over it, but we did. So, the reason we're going back here, you think back to Edgar, right? He has all those tools. We've acquired 7 of them. Obviously, there are 8 possible tools. There is one that we did not acquire, and we're about to show you where to get it. There's actually several places to get this final tool, but the easiest, cheapest, and most free of all the places is right here in the Fanatics Tower. So we're going to go back down in here with Mog and his Moogle Charm, as always. We're going to climb the tower through only the first tier door. We're going to show you a little trick here. We're going to climb all the way up and around the steps. And at this point, I'm going to be completely honest. I forgot where the switch is. I have to hit and trigger to do it, but eventually I figured it out. It's in this room that you're about to see right here. Go in here. It is a switch on the right-hand side of the wall, right-hand side of the treasure chest. Right over here. Go up, click, boom. Something open, but what was it? Let's go back outside. Look very closely. See that door on the floor right below? Go in that door. There is another chest right here. What is it? It is the air anchor. The air anchor is the final tool for Edgar to use in his arsenal. So what does it do exactly? What do you think it does? Basically, anything that tool successfully hits, the moment that enemy decides to make an attack, it will automatically suicide and kill itself. Now, I will tell you, it does not work on all enemies. Obviously, it has a hit-fail-miss ratio, so use it as you will. But obviously, whatever it hits with a success rate, it will instantly kill. So it's very nice to have, particularly against difficult enemies you're trying to level against. Think about what you could possibly use it for. Alright, that's pretty much it for right now. We could go into Kefka's tower and do it for real, but I want to do one final instance of offline power leveling. So we will save that. We will do that in between this and the last part. And then we will tackle this challenge for real, and we will finally beat and complete the pro level challenge. I'm so excited. We're so close, but we're going to save it for the final part. See you in part 22. Take care.